Everyone, I'm back with my great colleague, Meryl Brandwein. Meryl, where are you?
Hi, I am in Florida. It is sunny. It is beautiful. And I am in my office by myself.
By yourself. Look at it, like no sleeves. And I'm, of course, like, I don't know, 2,000 miles north on
Right.
the West
Well,
Coast.
I've been outside. I'm a little tan. So, my vitamin D. So,
Hey, listen, it was like 50 degrees or something this morning. I was outside like at 7 a.m. just getting outside. We have a lot of wide open spaces here. And you were able to get out and enjoy the parks.
actually, the park that I go to is closed now. This morning, they did close that park. So, I found myself a little spot near the water and went walking by myself and and did my thing and got in some fresh air and was able to ground myself, which I think is so important, right?
It is. So Meryl and I have, we both are dietitians. We both practice different realms of our field, but come together through genomics and nutrigenomics and functional nutrition. And it's been a fun relationship over many years now. But of course, in this environment, I wanted to talk to Meryl, or we wanted to talk together about the immune system and its whole area of supplementation. Should we supplement? How do we know if we supplement? How do we know if there wasn't a virus, whether we should supplement? So I guess where we're going to start then is the immune system. And we deal a lot with immune system in clinical practice, but how do we describe it, Meryl?
Right. I mean, look, the best way in simple terms is really our immune system is our body's defense mechanism. And so it's the first line of attack when there's a foreign invader that comes into the body. And so clearly what we're looking to do in this time, I mean, look, at any time, especially if you're someone like myself who has had a disease like cancer or something like that, my intention over my lifetime since I've had this has really been to support my immune system to stay healthy, to make sure that that my body is as healthy as it can be to fight off anything that comes its way, right? To the best of my ability anyway. And so especially in this environment, when we've got people who may or may not know if they're immunocompromised, right? Are their defense mechanisms as robust? Is their internal defense system as robust as possible? And that's really what we talk about when we're talking about the immune system here.
Exactly. So, I mean, how do you even know if your immune system is compromised? I mean, you're kind of walking around and, you don't necessarily feel sick, right? Or so how do we know? Or how do we know?
Right. Well, testing is the best way, right? We know through, so one of the nutrient tests that we run, the NutriEval, looks at antioxidants, looks at different values that we can really test, because I'm a big fan, as you are, of testing and not guessing. So that's one aspect that we can do. We can also look at the gut immune system. What is going on? Because we know 80% of our immune system is through the gut. And so we can look at that and evaluate how healthy is our GI system. Because I have people come in all the time saying, I don't get sick often, I don't get colds and so forth, which is great. But the fact is your internal system as robust? And we can look at that through doing stool testing, through blood testing. So there's many modalities of really understanding, taking, the deep dive into the immune system, not just by saying, well, I don't really get sick often, which is great, but what else can we look at? And then of course, we can go deeper, as we know, looking into things like inflammatory markers through the blood. And that's more of a deep dive when we do that with our individual clients, but we can definitely test it.
Yeah, and that's what I'm going to say. That's what's exciting. I wouldn't say because right now it's exciting, but I think what's really come to light as we're listening to experts speak right now is we are kind of quick to know, okay, someone's immunocompromised. Maybe they have a diagnosis, right? Okay, well, I have Crohn's disease or rheumatoid arthritis comes to mind. But what we're also knowing that there's many people who may be compromised because they have high blood pressure. So hypertension may feel fine. Diabetes,
vascular,
right, any form of heart disease, and we don't think of that as being immune compromised, but any kind of quote diagnosis is basically an outward sign of metabolic imbalance.
Correct. Right. Because again, then goes back to inflammatory conditions, right? And so what happens with the immune system when it starts mounting its defense. It's kind of like when you get a cut on your finger, right? If you think about that, the immune system kicks in to cover over that cut, but that puffiness is the inflammation. That's the immune system protecting our bodies.
Right.
So just imagine that on the inside, right? That our bodies are trying to, whether it is controlling the blood sugar, whether there are some cardiovascular imbalances, that's what the body's responding to on the inside, right? That puffiness, that inflammation is part of the immune system too.
It is. And so what's coming up, of course, and anytime there's a crisis outside of what we're dealing with right now, we want to find a quick fix and a patch. Our body wants to go to homeostasis, right? Wants to go to balance. And of course, we in our lives want to find balance, want to know when's this going to end? When can I get out? When can we shop? Right? But as part of that journey for our immune system, the question comes up, well, what can I do right now? I'm just, you can't find vitamin C anywhere. The elderberry is going flying off the shelves.
Right.
And so the question comes up is like, can you sort of retroactively like put a patch on your immune system with supplements right now? I mean, you can patch things up so nothing can get in.
Right. If it were only so easy. No, so we're not talking about the patch and patch whatever it is, but really it's more about, and what I've talked about for the past few weeks on our end is really talking about supporting the immune system, right? Clearly we want to be able to do it through food, and I've spoken, we've talked about that. I've also posted some things like immune supporting recipes. Does that mean it's going to prevent you from getting sick or prevent you from getting this virus? No, right? We know there is nothing specific to that end, unfortunately, but being able to support your system. So what does that mean? It means eating enough antioxidants, because antioxidants are what support the immune system, right? Getting in those bioactives support the immune system. But what happens is most people can't get enough, at least at therapeutic levels, meaning therapeutic, which is going to really support the body as in as much as possible. We can't get in those therapeutic doses through food. Most people just cannot consume that much food. And so that's when we talk about bridging the gap between the supplements and the food. And so when we talk about immune supporting products, I've talked about ones that are nutrient based, that provide the nutrients. And then there's the ones that are herbal, that provides things like we've been hearing about with the elderberry, but not overdoing it, right? Supporting it enough that it gives you just a baseline and perhaps that little oomph to get through if you feel like you're starting to, come down with something, or you're feeling a little, especially emotionally, right? The emotional drain of all of this, it can help support. But to go out and take crazy high doses of vitamins without knowing where you are at, right? What your specific levels are, and B, getting the right advice of how much to take. There's stuff floating around everywhere. Take high doses of, we were talking about high doses of zinc and high doses of C and high doses of D. And these antioxidants can also at high levels be pro-oxidants, which are not healthy. And so
explain what that is, because it's a difficult concept to understand.
Right.
So something so healthy, like be a pro-oxidant, whatever that is.
Right. Well, so I liken it to too much of anything is no good, right? So an antioxidant will help fight off those invaders that want to damage our healthy cells, right? If we take too much of those actually become our own free radicals, right? They become our own enemy into our own cells. And so it's always a matter of finding that balance. Too much of anything is not good.
Exactly. I mean, and so the safest place is to get your nutrients from food, because they're never going to be out of balance. That's the beauty of the food matrix. But what you're talking about too is, let's take the virus aside from the virus, that when people are out of balance, we're literally able to see through testing where the imbalances are. And if you can't respond to food, as you say, that's where we add in the supplements. And a lot of times it's just to get you up to par. Some people need to keep taking supplements because we see that from genetics and just some predispositions.
Right.
But as you're saying, a lot of times it's just like an adjunct therapy, which may be an interim period of time.
Right, right. I mean, that's the thing. I look, we do all this testing, and I will recommend to people, like, here's what you need. You need above and beyond what may be baseline for a period of time, right? We don't want you here all the time. And I talk very specifically about that. We give you a therapeutic level, and then we retest, and we may just need to bring it back down to baseline, right? You don't always need 50 milligrams of a B1 or whatever B vitamin you're taking, but for that time you do, and then we bring it back down to whatever's recommended, whether it's 10 or 15 and so forth. And so, and you know, that's where sometimes people say, well, I'm on a multivitamin, and a multivitamin is great overall, but it also may not give you high enough levels of certain things that you need. And yeah, so it just, it becomes very confusing for people. Yes, I get that. But, you know, when we're talking specifically about immune, because there's been so much controversy all over the place about it, right? And it really is a matter of supporting. And that's the piece that I think is so important that we get across here. We don't want to overstimulate, especially with people with these autoimmune diseases.
Correct.
You know, you don't want to stimulate the immune system. And some of the supplements that are being talked about out there do stimulate the immune system. So for example, well, we have to be careful with things like echinacea, golden seal, right? I mean, and some of those herbal things. And so even just cycling up and down, I tell people, just take it if you're feeling well and you just want to support your system, maybe just take it for a week and then stop for the following week. And then right? We don't need to keep ramping up a system that's not necessarily compromised, because we can get into trouble there.
Exactly. You know, one of the things that comes up, and of course you and I work pretty deep in nutritional biochemistry, you know, inevitably comes up zinc. Zinc for colds, take zinc for your immune system. I have to go back and look, well, exactly how much would we recommend? And of course there's no standard recommendation. It depends on the person, but is there a danger to suddenly like pouring in zinc?
Of course, because zinc is a mineral, right? So you've got zinc and you've got copper and you've got magnesium and you've got all of these other minerals that are now competing for absorption, right? So if you are overloading on zinc, then you are going to cause a deficiency somewhere else. And so, and yes, zinc is important for the immune system, but so are all of the other minerals.
So selenium, you know, so are all these micronutrients. Yeah.
Right. And so, yeah, this is the thing. It's that dance. It's that biochemistry dance that we need to make sure that we are managing in a really smart fashion, because we're quick to just take one thing or another thing, but everything in the body does work synergistically.
It does.
Pay attention to that.
And so we have millions and millions of people out there who have not necessarily seen a dietitian or a doctor recently, and they're just like, okay, well, I guess I better start amping something up. I mean, what would, other than food, you know, we'll come back and talk about food is going to be your best baseline, but if you were going to just step it up a little bit.
Right. Well, look, according to, especially now, according to what we know, taking higher doses of vitamin C. I'm comfortable saying, you know, if you take anywhere from 1,000 to even 5,000 milligrams a day of vitamin C, which for some people is probably, who knows, too little, right? But
yeah,
could be, it's a water soluble vitamin. It actually, if you take too much vitamin C, you'll end up in the bathroom. So that's how you know you have too much, right? You'll end up with some diarrhea.
True.
So, right. So, right. Again, too much of that, right? So, but you know, somewhere between 5,000 and 6,000 a day for most people to really support their immune system in this time is fine. From, again, the research that I read and all of that. Vitamin D, we know, is a great immune support. You know, 5,000 IUs a day is safe. I mean, do I have some people who I know, who I work with, that I'm telling to take 10? Yes, but
That's
again,
because you know their levels, right? You
exactly,
would
right?
never
So
start saying,
if I saw you walking down the street, I'm comfortable saying, here's, 5,000. Again, short period of time here. We're not
yeah,
talking,
very true.
infinitum, right? It's a short period of time, cycle up, cycle down, and look at it that way. I mean, there are, and if people want to reach out, there are specific things that I do recommend. But again, vitamin C, vitamin D, making sure you're hydrating, staying very well hydrated. We've got to be drinking to flush out our system.
And it's interesting because I know we are so busy right now, that even I notice, wow, I have my herbal teas or whatever, and I took this and took that, but I'm like, I am behind on water, just
Right.
straight water. It's very easy to fall back on that.
It is. I mean, and a good thing, you can make green tea and make it iced, right? You don't need, you can put in stevia if you want, but a few glasses of green tea, great antioxidant support, right? So, and that's not even a supplement. I'm not saying go out and take a supplement.
Yeah, don't take a green tea supplement right now, please.
No.
There's some people that genetically that is just, oof.
Right.
I would say that that's a whole other conversation, but green tea is a beverage, absolutely. Yeah,
Right.
if that's your thing.
So I mean, and I have, my family is taking, like I said, the vitamin C, the vitamin D. There's been some support for melatonin. Again, unless I really know who you are and I'm working with you, I don't know that you want to be going out there and just popping all kinds of melatonin, right?
Yeah, and exactly. That was one I think you actually followed me research. I'm like, that is really fascinating. But immediately when you see melatonin, you say, oh my gosh, there's a whole group of people that this would be catastrophic for. I would be one of them. Like I'd be just,
Right.
up all night. It has
Right.
completely opposite effects. So, I guess part of this is don't just jump on the bandwagon and you read something and it worked for that person and you just start taking it. So you feel it's safe, obviously food first. And if you want to amp something a little bit, it's better for your psyche than vitamin C.
Right.
I don't take that much. But of course I'm getting a lot through my food. So I've added on and just a little bit more of a boost. I actually also have taken something for a little while. So it's mushroom based.
Right.
Which is great, but for some people it doesn't work. So if you've never taken a mushroom based supplement, this might not be the time, right?
Well, and that's the thing, right? Do you want to be experimenting? Right. We know mushrooms are very immunosupportive. Again, it's you don't want to stimulate it too much, but it is immunosupportive. And so that's what I'm saying. Things like elderberry, echinacea, golden seal. Yes, those things are definitely supportive at a baseline. Like I said, if you're going to go take that stuff, it needs to be moderate amounts, not over consuming, because in this case, a little is good, more is not always better.
Yeah, because you may not know the status of your immune system. And I would say there's a lot of people whose immune systems were probably just puttering along just fine, but in this heightened sense of state of stress, anxiety, your immune system could be in the on position and you have no idea. And then you're amping it, right?
Right. Well, and that's right when we talk about cortisol. So
talk about that.
So right. I mean, like I've got all these people who are reaching out to me and they're so anxious and they've got now they're craving. So cortisol, which is that response to stress. So whether it's a physical stress or an emotional stress, our body pushes out cortisol because that is our body's survival defense mechanism, right? It
amps your blood sugar, right? So you can run.
Right. The fight or flight will cause digestion to slow down. It'll cause heart rate to go up and it'll shoot out the sugar into the system. And then you're under the false idea that you need more sugar, right? It creates those sugar cravings. And that's where that whole cycle of that emotional eating comes into play. But the more cortisol you pump out, the more inflammation you're going to create. And because cortisol is your body's defense mechanism, right? Remember we said the immune system is the defense mechanism. And so you're now causing the immune system actually to be activated when you are emotionally stressed.
Which many of us are right now. We don't know the beginning or the end or the middle. So you're not alone.
Right. So what works rather than going for the Snickers bar, or the Kit Kat, or the sugar, or the chocolate. Breathing really, really helps with that. Doing that deep breath work.
So I'm just like listening to you like,
right? I mean, this is why I say to I've been kind of putting out there every time in the morning when I get up, if I'm feeling that little bit of anxiety, I get out, I go for a walk, I'm doing that breathing because it really does help dampen that cortisol response. And so if we can take a step back long enough just to do that, it's great, right? So
totally. Yeah, totally. So, so we got off on cortisol. So I'm like, wait, stop, talk about cortisol. Because one thing I've heard from you, and I've heard from very many grounded healthcare providers, is don't forget to breathe and sleep. And sleep is difficult if you're stressed. I mean, for many people, our lives have just been turned around 100%. Like you're suddenly looking at your 3 kids like 24 hours a day, right? Wait, what? And so the stress is significant. So, which will amp your cortisol. But, you know, so stress can prevent sleep. Lack of sleep drives stress. So let's talk about sleep and anything we can suggest.
Well, look, when we sleep, our body produces melatonin, right? So melatonin is our body's own natural anti-aging hormone. It's our restorative hormone, which helps support the immune system.
Yes, we just discovered that in the research. That's some of the research that has come out, and I'm certainly not circulating it yet because we're still learning. But what we hear, and I'm going to kind of go off sideways on this one, and then we'll come back to sleep, is melatonin appears to downregulate one of these key receptors that may be identified in this virus. May.
Right.
So one of the thought processes behind why kids, younger kids, as we have seen, as we know from reported data, may not be susceptible to this virus is because they have much higher levels of melatonin, right? So we're emphasizing do not go out there and suddenly start taking melatonin. You can put your money towards other things. But so that comes back to your point about sleep, that as we sleep, our melatonin levels go up.
Mm-hmm.
So if you have a higher level of melatonin, it's one other aspect of the immune.
Correct. And the thing is, it's the timing of the sleep too. It's you know, what we know is melatonin is produced roughly between 10 p.m. and 2 a.m.
Which is when the body's removing itself of toxins too.
Exactly. Right. Funny how the body does that, right? So you want to make sure that you are getting your sleep in the earlier part of the night rather than the latter, because you want your body to be producing melatonin as efficiently as possible. And I can tell you from my clients that I suggest this to and actually follow through with it, they notice a remarkable difference in this, right? So it's a matter, I'm not saying if you go to bed at midnight that now you have to go to bed at 10, right? But if you go to bed at midnight, maybe shifting it 15 minutes earlier, you know, just that 15 minutes, and making sure you have a good sleep routine. You know, that's really, really important. It's, you know, don't be on your phones and don't be watching the news or a crazy TV show that's going to cause your cortisol to be higher, right? If you're on social media before you go to bed, if you're watching the news, if you're watching some, you know, drama show that you're all hyped and amped up, you are not going to be able to relax enough to go to bed. So cultivating a good sleep routine is important in boosting melatonin, right? Everything does come full circle.
Yeah, no, that's really interesting. So again, we're not suggesting you dash out there, start by melatonin. We've already had a run on other supplements. So this is about, I mean, some people do have a harder time producing melatonin, no doubt, but that's biochemistry, and that's something you would want to look at with a clinician. So helping people downshift to sleep is very difficult for us in America because we are a 24/7 blinking, like it's like Las Vegas every day. In many of our lives, the lights never go off. But, you know, obviously right now people are going to feel stress. The kids are stressed, everyone, because there's a lot of unknowns. So is there anything other than a good sleep routine? Is there anything we can suggest to people that would be safe if they are struggling? Or I mean,
I mean, as far as supplementally?
supplemental, because I know what I do if I'm in that space, but I just want to be kind of respectful as well.
Right. I mean, look, you know, we know things like theanine is a amino acid, which is safe, and it helps with anxiety and can help with relaxation. We know magnesium, again, at not crazy high doses. You know, 400 milligrams is pretty safe. And you can, you know, melatonin at 3 milligrams. Look, you'll know pretty quickly if you respond well to melatonin, right?
You will. You will either be asleep or you won't.
Right, right. And
exactly.
You know, but I'm a big fan of, look, I'm a big fan of meditation. I do my meditating at night, and again, the breath work, you know, doing the breathing is an amazing thing. And so we can't forget the behavioral things that we need to do. You again, you can't supplement away a poor diet. You can't supplement away poor sleep habits and sleep hygiene. So it still has to go together. But you know, those things are fairly safe and done responsibly. You know, the supplements, I think you can see some decent benefit, you know, without causing harm. So.
And you know, I love the idea of the sleep hygiene. I mean, you know, it's difficult. It's difficult to do. But also I take an herbal tea. You know, there's a routine. If you can get to a routine, especially with your kids, you know, it's a routine.
Well, and that's one thing that we're doing right now with you know, we're offering is virtually how to help people, right? You don't have to come in to see me. We can help you virtually and give us what's going on with you, tell us what's happening, and we can support you. Right?
Correct.
Because we can't be face-to-face in a physical presence doesn't mean we can't be face-to-face like you and I, and coaching people through this, because we know that we don't function well in isolation, right? And
things don't.
right, and we need that interaction, but supporting other people is going to be important. So you know, we can offer that, and you know, so people know that they have an outlet.
Where do they find you, Meryl? Where'd they find us? Where'd they find you?
So you can find me merylbrandwein.com, merylb.com. Go online. I'm on at Meryl Brand on Instagram.
MERYL.
Yes.
Not MERRIL.
Right. Listen, Meryl at merylb.com. MERYLB.com. There you go.
And so Amanda at genomickitchen.com, the Genomic Kitchen. And if you can't find Meryl, you find me, I'll find Meryl, and vice versa.
Exactly.
So, anything else, Meryl, like these, as we said before we even came on, these are difficult times. Anyone in the world, these are difficult times. Our routines are turned upside down. What is, you know, how can we help? Because we don't know the end yet. So how do you navigate the uncertainty?
You know, I think, again, just trying to breathe through it. For me, I mean, I can speak for myself, and I can speak what I'm, you know, again, recommending to my other clients is taking a step back, breathing, making sure you are nourishing your body with good food. There is plenty of good food to be had. Some of the stores are they're scarce on certain things, but I guarantee you, you know, if you've got stuff and you don't know what to do with, reach out to me. We can make a meal on it, right? So making sure that you are nourishing your body, that you are nourishing your mind, that you're being mindful. You're not just eating. I did a whole piece on this. You're not just eating because of the mouth hunger, that you're actually hungry, because we tend to completely overeat when we're stuck in a house and, you know, not really.
That's true.
Right. And but we're not physically hungry, we're emotional hungry. So don't feed the emotions. And it's very, very difficult to do because we're anxious, we're worried, we're concerned, we don't know, you know, what, we're bored, right? So making sure we're nourishing ourselves for the right reasons with the right food, making sure we are sleeping, making sure we are moving, and not getting stuck in that whirlwind of social media and toxic emotions and toxic language and toxic conversations. I think that's really, really important. It is so easy. We were just talking about that. It is so easy to go down that rabbit hole. And I think it's going to take the wherewithal of us to pull back and say, okay, I cannot listen to this. And
yeah, maybe what we have to do is we have a, you know, there's a 6 feet distance. It's 6 feet from your screen, 6 feet from your phone,
right,
you know, turned over for 6 minutes every hour until you go to bed, something
right,
like that.
right.
So, and you know, the other thing that comes to mind is if I was talking to our colleague Wendy Jo Peterson the other day. She does so much work with the Insta Pie, and she was saying that there's a lot of people who bought that Insta Pie, unpack it.
Yeah.
This is your time, because what you put in there could be deeply nourishing, and it's very inexpensive at the grocery store.
Yes.
It's called beans, you know, and lentils, and
Listen, root vegetables, right? Any of those root vegetables. I mean,
phenomenal.
yep. Yep. I had them last night. My kids were like, wow, this is good. So
Yeah, because they're sweeter too. And the other thing, like, and I need to send you this recipe, and I'll ask Chef Kate, who I work with. We dehydrated a bunch of like root vegetables.
I saw that. I know. Yes.
So like, you're at home, you can put, if you don't have a dehydrator, most of us don't, you can turn your oven on just on the warming, and I need to clip that video, or have you do it, Meryl. I'm just gonna, I will. And you just dehydrate vegetables, and there's a reason I'm saying this, and then you put them through. You don't even need a Vitamix. You can use use a NutriBullet, right? Or a little 2-cup processor. And what you end up with is this magical powder that probably contains every nutrient you need. Probably not omega-3s, right? Depends, maybe through the mushrooms. But this is a supplement you can make at home, right? If you, because it's what you're hearing from us, is it is food first. Therapeutically, you want to work with a clinician. But if you can't do anything else and you're at home, dehydrating these foods, right, will probably give you the B's and the C's and then magnesium and some of the zinc that you need as a boost every day, right? It's like a bouillon cube. I'm going to post that, and I'm going to send that to you. And with
I know. I was watching that the video, and I need to do that. That's on my.
It's on your list. Yeah, it's fantastic. So yes, you
nice.
too can make your own supplements at home. We should have talked about that, but I'll grab I will grab that recipe and we'll post it. So
yes, we'll put it on ours too. Awesome.
All right.
Good, important conversations to have.
It is. Hey, reach out, everyone. You know, Meryl, you are also putting tips out there. Are you recording every day? How can people see what you're
yeah, we are I'm trying to record. I've done anything that's on, and I think we'll probably do more of the recording rather than the live, so people
it's hard,
so people can go back and see it. But if anybody wants to reach out for any of that, I'm happy to answer. It should be on Instagram, should be on Facebook. We've got it all over. So
reach out, people. We can, in this age of technology, it's a virtual hug, not an actual one. And we do need that in our lives, but be safe. I hope this has been useful. And if you've got questions, you can just shoot a note to Meryl or myself, and we'll get you the answer. All right. Hey, Meryl, thank you. It's always awesome. We'll dream up something else to talk about really soon.
Absolutely.
Thanks.